Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again this morning. So listen, we're in Proverbs chapter 7. Um, first few verses, first 5 verses is what I'm going to look at. We start at verse 1. He says, my son, he says, keep my words and treasure my commands within you. And so he's saying, you're going to hear my words. You have heard my words. You're going to continue to hear my words. I'm going to give you this instruction, and I'm asking you to keep them. I'm asking you to guard them. You need to guard them with everything you've got. You need to treasure them within you. And we already talked about that a little bit, about seeing it as a treasure and most valuable. So this is about wisdom. And so what I want to say first of all about wisdom, and it's about God's wisdom and God's wisdom for life. And here's the thing, knowledge is just gaining intellectual knowledge. You're not supposed to define a word by using the word. Knowledge is just intellectual. It's knowing things. It's knowing facts. Wisdom is actually being able to live it out and actually being able to apply that knowledge to life. You've probably heard it said before, but knowledge is knowing that a tomato is actually a fruit, okay? But wisdom is knowing that you don't put it in a fruit salad, right? You see the difference? Knowledge is knowing the fact, but wisdom is knowing how to live it out. And that's the thing about God's word. God gave us his word not to gain knowledge, but so that we can live it out. That's why James would say, be doers of the word and not hearers only. Because if you're only a hearer and not a doer, you are deceiving yourself. God gave us his word to live it out. And so he's saying here, my son, keep my words, treasure my commands within you. Keep my commandments and live. God's word provides for us a framework for life where we're going to find our place, where we're in the position to be blessed by him, where we're in the position to be close to him, and where we're going to be able to find peace, and we're going to be able to find the most happiness. Keep my commands and live, and my law as the apple of your eye. Little phrase here, the apple of your eye. Sometimes if you study it, it might be interpreted the little man of the eye. And what it's referring to, it's referring to your pupil, the little dark spot right in the middle of the eye. And the idea is that when you looked into somebody's eye, you could see a reflection of yourself. It's the little man of the eye. It's the little tiny person. You can see yourself. It's the most special point. And he's saying, keep my law, my commands, my word as the apple of your eye. They are the most important thing for you to be focused on and for you to be looking at. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 22, Jesus says that the lamp of the body is the eye. And if your eye is good, your body will be full of light. The lamp of the body is the eye. And what he's saying is he's saying, you want to make sure you stay on the right track. You want to make sure you make the right decisions. You want to make sure that your life is full of light and not full of darkness. He says, and you better take care about what you focus on, about what you're putting your eyes on, about what's important to you. And that's the same idea that's happening over here in Proverbs chapter 7, verse 2. Keep my law as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers. And again, this is just a whole bunch of different ways to talk about it. It's like, you ever put a rubber band on your wrist so you wouldn't forget something? Do something to make sure that you are not going to forget to live out God's word. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Write them on your heart. And then say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding to your nearest kin. Now, this is really kind of a transition into the rest of the chapter, but what he's talking about say to wisdom, you're my sister, he's talking about the relationship that we have. The rest of this chapter is about, it's about harlotry, and it's about adultery and following after the harlot. And the thing is that throughout the Old Testament, God uses this imagery of forsaking him to follow after, to commit spiritual adultery, to follow after a spiritual harlot. And so when we reject God's words, God's ways, God's commands, and we go after another way, it is like spiritual adultery against God. So we need to see his wisdom and his command and his ways and his laws as something that we need to keep close to us, as something that we need to guard and put our eye on and focus on so that we can move in the right direction. Proverbs chapter 7, 1 through 5 especially. Use it. Get out there. Faith today. Love you guys. Bye.